they were skipping me, they were skipping the middleman, but they were still having to pay the piper. They had to pay eBay, they had to pay Amazon. Now they're attempting to skip both me and eBay and Amazon. Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the Commonwealth cabin. You know, I've got a great topic. Well, I don't know if it's great or not, but I have a topic today. Something that I've heard a lot lately and something I've been thinking a lot about. Something I've started to dig into a little bit and just see what kind of ramifications the actions that Goodwill has been taking around the country in not just the last few months, but the last few years. And in reality, probably for at least 5, maybe even 10 years, moving in a direction in becoming the enemy, if you will. That might be a little harsh. Becoming the direct competition of people like me and people like you. Not as much me, because I don't buy from the Goodwill very much, but a lot of folks out there who are watching this show buy almost exclusively from thrift stores, and a few people buy almost exclusively from Goodwill. So I want to talk about that a little bit today, but I also want to talk about some sales. We're going to do 4 sales really quick before we talk about the Goodwill, but I've got some big sales headed out of here today. Looks like just about $1,400 headed out of here. Let's take a look. The first one headed out of here today is actually, I'm probably going to show you a screenshot of it here. I'll just pop it up in the video because I don't really want to blow it up. And it was listed for about a day and it's sold. So I think, is it that one? Yeah, it's this one. It's a Snoopy. Well, you're seeing a picture, so you see what it is. Snoopy Woodstock on a doghouse. Jimmy inflatable. And it's funny, I posted it on Instagram and I said this on the podcast the other day. Matt, Part-Time Pickers, sent me a message. He's like, man, that thing is like the smallest inflatable I've ever seen. And it is only 3.5 feet tall. So it is, I think it's the smallest one I've ever sold. But it sold pretty quick and I'm into it for not much at all. I think I bought it not even knowing what it was. Bought 2 of them. Sold for $39 plus shipping. Check this sale out. This one is awesome. This actually went to a viewer, and it went to a viewer overseas. I'll read that message in a second, but check this lot out. They bought everything. Well, I think they thought they bought every single one of these ET ones, but I don't think he got that one right there. And the orange flower one, pendant necklace. And then I realized going through this, so I owe you something here. I appreciate this. I don't think I had these listed. These, I always say ET and drag earrings. So I've sold, you know, there's that pin with him like that. Sorry if the glare's bad. And there's a pendant like that. But I didn't have the earrings listed. So I'm going to list those. Those are super cool. At any rate, these, how many? What do we got? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are headed out of here. $85.98 plus shipping. We're going to give a shipping refund, of course, to all of this. It's headed overseas. Let me read this. This one's headed to Darren. Let me read a portion of the message. Been watching you guys on YouTube for a while. Really enjoy the picking videos. Me and my dad often rummage through and around the flea markets here in France. And it sounds like you're a collector out there, but he says maybe it's time to start reselling properly. Anyways, stay awesome and good luck with the new cabin. By the way, that new cabin out there, the SupplyHut out there, they are working on it right now as we speak. I just saw their car through the back window drive up. I'm like, sweet. So next video, you should see an update. And we're starting to make some progress again, getting towards the goal. I was hoping it'd be done by the end of October. That's obviously not going to happen. So I could really ramp up the listings. But, you know, it'll happen eventually. And we'll be ready. We'll probably get the tail into Q4. He says, maybe I should ask for some bubble bucks and some stickers. So we're going to not only give you some bubble bucks and some stickers. This is going all the way to France here. And I think you said that you ship all the stuff that you buy to one person and then have them ship it over to you, and it saves you money. And there's a lot of folks who do that. So we're going to throw in a few extras on top of this as well. So we'll get some other stickers and stuff and throw them in there because you bought an awful lot, and I know it's expensive to ship overseas. Next one I'm going to have to show you a screenshot of as well because I can't find it. I just spent 5 minutes looking for it. So this looks like something maybe, I don't know, I might have listed this and I can't find it. So that might be an issue, but it's not where I would typically put something like this. This is a bangle bracelet. Sold for $14.96 plus shipping. It's been in the store a long, long time, so we don't lose too many items, but this might be one of them. So the last one of the absorbing juniors, which still blows my mind that that stuff sells so well here. Vintage absorbing junior. And those sold pretty darn quick. They're all gone. $19. Look at that. It cost $2.45 to begin with. $19 for that one. Plus shipping. Time to talk a little bit about the Goodwill. Do me a favor and tell me what percentage of your sourcing, if you're a reseller, I know there's a lot of folks who watch this show who aren't, what percentage of your sourcing comes from specifically the Goodwill, not just thrifting, specifically the Goodwill? Is it 0? Is it 5? Is it 25? Is it 100%? Some people thrift exclusively there and resell with only what they find there. Now, I could do a whole video just on this topic, and I might even do a really deep dive and put it over there on the Garage Sale Nation channel a little bit later this winter when I have a little bit more time. But I've been getting a lot of questions lately. I've been seeing a lot in social media about Goodwill doing their new online thing called Goodwill Finds. And, you know, usually if you watch this show, you know I don't usually do the sky is falling, right? And I think this is an issue, and I think it should be discussed a little bit, but, you know, tempered a little bit and not be Pollyannish about it, because essentially what Goodwill is doing right now, well, let me go back a little bit. So first of all, Goodwill's been selling online for a long time, and they've been doing it in different ways. So Goodwill has a huge presence, different Goodwills, you know, because Goodwill is regional, and it's to speak of it all together like they're all priced the same all around the country just isn't true. My Goodwill is still okay, not nearly as good as it used to be. There are some Goodwills in some places around the country that are just, as far as sourcing goes, they're just not worth going to, period. They've gotten that bad from our point of view, right? But I have heard a few people lately act like, you know, the sky is falling. It's the end of reselling as we know it because Goodwill essentially is selling online. Well, first of all, like I said, they've been doing it a long time. There's certain places around the country where they have been cherry-picking items and they have been selling hundreds of thousands of items, probably collectively millions of items, probably more than that, a year on eBay itself. Some of you have seen eBay sites on, seen Goodwill sites on eBay. They've been selling on Amazon, and it's a growing enterprise for a lot of Goodwills. I know specifically in Colorado, there's one that is massive and it is growing. And then the Orange County Goodwill, I think was the first one who started to do the shop Goodwill. And they were just doing exclusively auctions, which keeps overhead down because you don't have to research and all that stuff. It's just pick the item, list it, 99 cents, auction. And so a lot of you have been buying from Goodwill. Well, not Goodwill Finds, I get confused. Shop Goodwill. So there's the second way Goodwill's already selling online, but now they've rolled out Goodwill Finds, which is essentially eliminating the middleman twice. That doesn't make sense, but I think it does make sense if you listen, if you hear me out here. The traditional model for Goodwill is retail, right? And so in order to make more money, and this video is not about how much Goodwill CEO makes and how much the upper echelon makes. That's not what this video is about. You can make those comments if you want, but that's really not what we're talking about. We're talking about how this affects resellers that are sourcing at Goodwill. Selling direct retail to people like me and to anybody out there, there is still overhead. You still got to pay rent. You still got to pay for your employees, all that stuff. But they're sourcing, well, they're not even sourcing. It's coming to them. They're getting their items for free. But, you know, there's a limited market, so you can't charge, you know, top dollar for your items. So what they started to do, of course, was to start selling on eBay and to start selling on Amazon. Therefore, they were skipping the middleman. So selling it directly to me, for instance, you know, I was the middleman, so to speak. You were the middleman, so to speak. They were selling their stuff to us and taking a very small percentage of what they could get if they sold it online for a top dollar. Now, when they started a long time ago to start selling on eBay themselves and to start selling on Amazon themselves, they were skipping me, they were skipping the middleman, but they were still having to pay the piper. They had to pay eBay, they had to pay Amazon. Now they're attempting to skip both me and eBay and Amazon. They're trying to be their own eBay. They're trying to be their own online marketplace, and they're taking the donations that are coming in. They're essentially sifting through them in their regional locations, and then those regional locations are shipping it out to this place. You know, it's a little bit confusing, but you know, it's really just like anything else, I suppose. They're cherry picking the good stuff and sending it all to one location and then listing it all online right there. And I think it's interesting because there's like a board of directors for Goodwill finds, and it's all of these regional territories that are contributing to these, what are supposed to be better items, you know, high-end stuff. Although it's kind of funny if you go over to the website and look, some of it's not all that high-end, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think with the overhead of shipping all this stuff around and hiring people to do this, they probably, if it were me, I'd probably bump that average sale price up. And you know me, I'm willing to sell anything. But when you're paying overhead, they're going to have to bump that average sale price up. Now, what they've done is they've really charged pretty high prices. They're not even competitive with eBay. A lot of the prices are over what you're going to find on eBay. So they're not a direct competitor that's a big threat in my mind because their prices are too high. To me, where this is the biggest issue is that less and less good merchandise is headed into the retail shops, thus making it harder for people who thrift for most of their sourcing to find good items. This is a trend that's not going to stop. Now, it doesn't affect me per se that much because 95% of what we sell comes from garage sales. But, you know, if this issue was about garage sales, it'd be an issue to me. So I know it's an issue to some folks out there. A lot of people are starting to change how they source. They're moving away from Goodwill. Matter of fact, I know specifically people around this area who used to thrift exclusively for their sourcing, and they've not completely abandoned it, but they have gone away from it because even these little tiny little thrift stores around here, these tiny little Goodwills, compared to some of the monstrosities I see around the country, you just can't find as much good merchandise anymore. And it's not really the competition of more resellers. It's less and less good merchandise is finding its way into the Goodwills at all. Now, I realize it's not the case around the country everywhere, but I do think it's coming to most places. And I also think that the market itself will shift. You know, I think Goodwill themselves, look, there used to be Goodwills popping up all over the place around here. There hasn't been one pop up in years. Matter of fact, some are contracting. They're getting smaller. One I know has disappeared completely. Well, it didn't disappear, but they closed it. So I think the retail side is going to become weaker if they continue to do this, because who's going to go into a Goodwill? Not just not just people who resell, but anybody at all. If there's really nothing of any great value, and you can't do that treasure hunting anymore, because a lot of folks do that at Goodwill who aren't resellers. So I think it's a fine line that they have to walk, but I don't think this is going to change. So maybe some people out there are going to have to change how they source. Maybe you are already. And you know what? I guess you kind of got to get this stuff before it gets to Goodwill. I tell everybody I know, and I've been getting more and more lately, here and there. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. Had a huge ton of stuff come in from a friend of mine about 4 months ago, and they're like, hey, I was going to take this to the Goodwill, but I know you resell, so why don't you take it? And I'm like, sweet. And there was some excellent stuff in there. So I know people are finding a way to get stuff before it hits the Goodwill. The reality is a lot of people who take their stuff and donate it to the Goodwill, they're not really interested in being, you know, a wonderful person and donating their stuff to the Goodwill. They just want to feel okay about getting rid of a bunch of stuff that they know has some value without chucking it in the trash. So if you give them an alternative to taking the stuff to the Goodwill, they almost certainly will give it to you if they know you. And I think it's worth spreading the word around if you're okay with it and comfortable with it, telling people, hey, I'm a reseller. If you got something you're getting rid of, call me first. And I think they might do it. Grab this from a yard sale. Matter of fact, the people at the yard sale were viewers. So they know the value of stuff. And some people just don't have the time to deal with it. So telling people, I think, is going to be a huge part of the future of reselling for us. And a lot of you probably already do. Tell me your stories about that below. This was bought at that sale. I don't know, probably paid $1 or $2. Sold for $18 for this Lady and the Tramp little purse right there. This one, the name on here is William Nelson. I won't make any Willie Nelson jokes. I'm sure you probably hear it all the time. I love your YouTube channel. I also started on eBay store, and things are slow, but I love it and understand why you do it. And they said they wanted to thank me for Lady and the Trump. I think they had a little typo there. Willows-resales-65791. Thanks so much. Sold a Care Bear, and this one's Birthday Bear. Not one of the ones in particularly high demand, but still a cool one. That is a vintage one. 1984 should be. And no, 1983 on that one. And this one right here sold for $10 plus shipping. Another viewer sale. This one's going out to Anthony. Anthony, thank you. I appreciate it. He says it's a second-time buyer. And this is a pretty cool item. I think I picked this one up. I might have paid $2 for this one, which to me is paying up for a plush if I remember where I bought it, especially for one that sells for 10. I don't really like 2 into 10. I like 1 into 10 plus shipping. But I just thought it was so cool. It's like a, well, it's got to be a reindeer, although it kind of looks like a moose, right? But I'm pretty sure that's a reindeer. And it's some kind of Christmas Winnie the Pooh. And it's really kind of neat. I've never seen one quite like it, so I had to pick it up. And I'm glad I did. It's a beanie right there. So it sold for $10 plus shipping. So 2 into 10 is probably around a $6 profit. I wanted to move to the next sale, but just too much whining out there. All right, I'll get you a treat. I'll get you a treat. Here, you want a treat? Will you be quiet if I get you a treat? Pepper has her treats, and I have just sold something I just love to sell. Just these weird items right here. I pulled this out earlier because I wasn't sure I'd be able to find it, and I found it. It was in the bottom of this because it's been in here for a while. I keep a lot of bags in here. It's been in the very bottom of that West Virginia tote. Pepper's following me around. But it's that Stetson toiletry bag. Like, that thing is awesome. And I'm excited to sell that. I know it's not exciting to most people, but I love picking this stuff up for, you know, 50 cents and selling it for $12 plus shipping. I get as excited about that as I do about just about any sale. I also get excited when I get rid of shoes. I don't really like selling shoes, but I paid $5 for these Danskos. They went off on a little bit of a sale, so they sold for $28.50, which is a good deal. Those shoes are in great shape, so pretty happy with that. Sold a keychain, and this one is a Firebird, so this isn't the one we've been selling the heck out of, which is the Z28. Trans Am's there. This is the Firebird one that we sold. Pretty cool looking. See that one? And this is an example of sourcing. You know, this guy used to run, if you go back and watch that 2 Epic Garage Sales, he used to run like a key shop or something. And he had been holding on to this stuff forever, and he decided to sell it at this, like, I don't even know what you want to call it. It was in maybe a moose lodge or something. And he sold it all to me. And that's the kind of sourcing that you need to make contacts, find people, and source a bunch of stuff. But it's $15.95 plus shipping. Pepper's in her hiding spot down there waiting for more treats. This is a great message. Thank you, Glenn, for the purchase, but thank you for the message. My name is Glenn. I met you at the 127 Trash to Cash Barbecue Bash back in August in Crossville, Tennessee. He said, you might remember me because I asked you to sign my Tupperware lid. And I do remember you for sure. Thank you, Glenn. That made me laugh for sure. I've had a few people ask me to sign those Tupperware lids. He says it'll be a great addition to his collection. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me at the meetup and all the great content and advice. If you could include some Bubble Bucks in the purchase and a few of the Commonwealth Flipper stickers, I'd appreciate it. God bless you and your family. P.S. You're not old. I know I'm not old, and I don't feel old either. So Dave and Carrie, y'all can take a hike. All right, Turner has some sales for the Homeschool Hustlers today. You got some funky stuff right there. You got any idea who any of those are?
This is the thing from Rudolph.
Bumble.
And this is, oh, I know him. I've seen him, but I don't know his
Well,
name.
he's not normally that color.
Yeah,
it's in Winnie the Pooh, and it's Eeyore.
Yeah,
Eeyore. He says, oh, bother.
And this is Fox something.
Fox and Socks.
Fox and Socks.
Yeah, that's Dr. Seuss. And all of this together sold for like $38.90. Not too bad. And it went to, I think Dez is the name. And I apologize if I have missed a message somewhere. I don't see one on the purchase. If I did, send me a direct message on Instagram or something. Maybe I'll put something on a little later. I don't think I did. I don't remember seeing anything, but I just, you know, we bought 3 things. So, at any rate, thank you for that. Would you thank Dez?
Thank you, Des.
And that's pretty cool. Definitely enough. Definitely. And
Definitely.
Yeah, you're going to need some spending money where we're going.
Like, is it $3?
Yeah.
To spend?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Say it.
$3 to spend, $3 to save, $3 to donate. It doesn't sound the same.
It doesn't, it doesn't, does it, buddy? Thank you.
Bye.
Sold a couple more golf club head covers. This is a Cobra driver and a 3-wood cover. $21.40 plus shipping, and they go right out in a poly bag, which is super easy. And since we're talking about shipping here today, just wanted to say thank you to Davlis from Beaverton, Oregon, who ordered, he actually requested a hard copy for the plans for the Commonwealth Picker shipping table over on CommonwealthPicker.com. If you ever order those, we just send out an email with all the information and all the specs and the parts list and all that stuff. But if you want a hard copy, we will send one to you. You just have to ask for it. 2 more ET purchases right here. This one is headed out. This pendant right here is headed out for $6 plus shipping. And the other ET in drag is, see if I can guess this one right. I never get it right. I don't even know why I try anymore. There it is. That one right there sells for $8 plus shipping. 2 separate sales right there. Next item is an Enema, and Bradley purchased it. And it's not this one right here. This is the Enema Man, and that is over there, Kurt O'Toy, on CommonwealthPicker.com. This one is what Bradley bought, and it is going to be headed out of here. I can't believe it, y'all, but a couple things. One, first of all, Bradley, I did not see a message from you on the purchase, so if you left it in the messages, I'm sorry. I have lost it. It gets buried. There's just so many messages, but whenever we sell these, we sell them with all our stickers as well, so they come with it, and they're on auction once a week. Now, we used to sell them, if you're new to the channel, we used to sell them just, you know, all the time on Buy It Now, but the whole show was about these because we'd sell 20, 25 a night, and so we don't do that anymore. And we're running out. That bin back there is the last of it, except for these 2 right here, and the one inside, which we keep for decoration. And it's creeped back over the century mark again. Absolutely insane the support you guys give us with these guys, the Enema, the Reseller mascot, the Supreme Reseller mascot. No offense to any pigs out there, but at any rate, this guy gets things moving for you. And Bradley, I hope he gets things moving for you. And I almost forgot, $730 later, which I am not counting any of that money whatsoever. And if you watched the last, or 2 episodes ago, 3 episodes ago, you know this story, and we're going to let it play out. And all parties involved know. So I am not expecting much, although I have had people tell me that I am wrong in my last video and they're real, but I just don't, man, they're excellent ones though if they're not. So I'll keep you updated on that one right there. It's like a October surprise here. Sophie actually wandered down the stairs. She hadn't done this in, I don't know, y'all watch, months to come down here. Crazy. NWO WCW decals. And we have a bunch of these over here still. We resupplied with, I think, probably all that are left in the United States. And we got those. There's $10 plus shipping on those. And these went to 6 Blessings, Pickin' and Flippin'. And they left a message, and I can't find it anymore, but I remember reading it. And it was, you have 6 blessings, so you're 6 children, and your husband loves wrestling. So you want to say thank you to them, you know? Sophie hasn't had a bath in weeks. She's so old these days. She's slowing down. Y'all go back and watch the early videos, and Sophie used to sit right there and watch the whole show with us, and I'd feed her peanuts. Maybe that's what I should do. She needed to go on a diet, so I stopped feeding her peanuts, and she stopped coming down here. Surprise, surprise.
Hi guys, my name is Reagan, and today we're going to see what's sold out of the CWP store, but we also got Dopey Girl. Don't worry, I gave her plenty of treats.
You good?
Yeah. First we have Laura, and she got an Enema Man, and she is Fizzy's This and That on eBay and Fizz Lifting Drink on YouTube. And then Melissa got an Enema Man, and Cheryl got a CW Flipper sticker, and We Get Things Moving sticker, and she wanted me to say that this is going to Charlie, and that there's always a Charlie, and that they have an inside joke that everything we see on TV, there's always a Charlie. Alright guys, bye, and don't forget your stickers at CommonwealthPicker.com.
Hey y'all, I thought I'd start doing a Q&A once a video. I told you that a couple of videos ago, so put your questions below and maybe I'll try to answer one if we have time. Lucy asked this one, Lucy something, I can't remember. So Lucy, if you're out there listening, there was an initial there too, I think. The question is simple, and they just started reselling not too long ago. Should you list seasonal items, you know, in the season that they would most likely sell? So my common answer is no. Just list it when you get it. I think that's best. Sometimes you put things away seasonal and then you forget to get them out or you can't find them. So definitely just list it whenever. People buy things all year round. And certainly different places in the country as well. You know, like golf clubs, you know, they play golf in the wintertime in Florida, but not in the summertime. But I think her question was about like holiday items. So I don't think so. Now, I will say that if you want to get, you know, some new eyeballs on it, maybe if it's not selling as it moves into the season, you might want to do a delist and relist. But y'all tell me what you think in the comments below.